And I've been a firm believer that organizations which invest their energies and efforts and fund employees' growth in various aspects of their organizational culture are the organizations who are growing very, very rapidly in terms of their successes, in terms of expansion, in terms of financial success, and whatnot. So I believe that. For an organization, for leaders working within the organization, it is extremely, extremely important that they must work towards providing that environment which is safe, which is healthy for the people to grow, to be creative, to be innovative, and that would essentially translate in the performance of the people, and the organization is bound to grow. I'd like to share with you an experiment that was conducted by the very, very, very famous Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, known as a father of the modern medical science, written many, many great books, which are still referred by medical students. He was known for his experiments, and at that time, he was the kind of a guy who used to experiment on animals. So he experimented this idea on two lambs, where he basically had two similar lambs in different cages. Both were provided the same amount of food, the same kind of food. Both were provided the same kind of external sunlight and the essential nutrients, the essential nourishment, the water, and the basic needs. But what he did was that he introduced a wolf, a sight of the wolf, to one lamb, and the other lamb was prevented from seeing that wolf. After a few days, the lamb which was exposed to the wolf, there was a very evident change in the behavior of that lamb. That lamb essentially, started to show some form of, a loss of appetite, and he would not be very, very active like the other lamb, and he would show some symptoms of fear. He was gasping all the time. He was breathing very fast. The heart rate was very, very fast, as he could see from the physiology of that lamb, and he could, then conclude that the lamb which was exposed to the fear, exposed to the predator, exposed to the environment which was essentially, full of fear or lack of safety, that lamb was not behaving normally, or not behaving the way it was supposed to behave, and he lost in terms of weight, lost in terms of appetite, and he would show and display some form of weakness or disease. No, similar thing happened within organization, as I've worked with organizations with great cultures. I've worked with organizations with weak cultures as well, and both are very evidently displaying the symptoms of the culture in terms of how people are performing in the organization, and in terms of the numbers that the organization was essentially, giving. So essentially, what I concluded in my journey with various organizations, I've been a firm believer that we must, as leaders, we must provide people with the safe environment, with the psychological safety first, and then we could, strategize our growth, because the safety is the most essential and basic necessity for any organization, for any individual to feel safe first, and to be able to feel that he's a valued member in that organization. And with that, there's so many, benefits to that an employee will be extremely productive, will be extremely innovative and creative, as he feels that his or her voice is going to be heard, and whatever he's contributing, little or more, is going to be valued. And similarly, that employee will start to contribute more towards the growth and the success of that organization. So my message to all the managers is that, and all the leaders, of course, is that if you have the authority, if you have people working under you, you must create that sense of safety for your team, and then you can essentially, strategize your growth, strategize a lot of activities, a lot of, methods to basically keep your people engaged. But first thing first, psychological safety has to be there.